Welcome to the Jersey to Vegas podcast. This podcast talks about the hows, whys, and what's next in your life journey. If you're looking to start fresh and turn over a new leaf, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, Pete Isip.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Jersey to Vegas podcast. It's Pete, episode number 49. We're here with Mr. Salmon. He is a good friend of mine. I'm very excited because we've been trying to meet up 1,000 times. And I kind of, I something happens, life happens. We have kids and we get it. And Sunday's the only day that we could do it at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And it's just sometimes hard to connect. Really quick is that Salman, Sal, I don't call him Sal. But
yeah, that's whatever's easy.
Is that cool? That's better for me.
It's that's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I call you Sal anyway.
That's okay.
We met in group over a year ago, unexpectedly, and it was a very cool but weird experience because it was cool knowing someone there, kind of knowing someone there, and at the same time scary knowing someone.
Yeah, I was gonna say scary. Say scary because that's my heart. My heart, like, I won't say skipped a beat because it just like stopped for like 20 seconds. I'm like, does he know me? That is him. I know it's him. I see his tattoos and his beanie and his writing notes. I know that's him. I don't think he knows me.
And I knew him. And we knew. We knew. And we just carried on.
You knew me.
I knew we knew. We carried on for 5 hours? How long we're there for? I don't even know how long we're there for. But it was cool. End up building a cool relationship, a cool friendship where it's like something that he came to the gym. You came to the gym once, Crank, correct? No.
Actually, I had never been to the gym, but my brother used to go.
Yes, I know that. I know your brother went. But
yeah.
Did you ever come visit? Just no, maybe
I don't think so. I think my first interaction with you was actually, I think, at Rich and Moni's wedding.
Rich and Moni's wedding, yes.
Yeah. That was because I was like, you're Pete Isip. I said Isip because I didn't know it was Isip. Yeah. So,
yeah. Filipinos know it's Isip, and
Isip.
The Americans know it's Isip because they fuck it up all the time. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for showing up. So what's up, man? Yeah, a couple things. I stalk your Instagram, right? So that's what we always do. You went to Disney. Yeah. You went to Disney. Okay.
Oh, there's a story about that. Yeah.
Perfect. Please tell me about Disney.
So I will say this. I'll start with this. When I was about 15, my mom got suckered into a timeshare presentation, right, in Disney. Well, not at Disney, but like at a nearby timeshare. So we went there when I was 15, and I loved the experience. I had been to Disney when I was much younger, maybe like 7 or 8, but it was their 25th anniversary, and I was so enamored by the experience. I said to myself, you know what? During the 50th anniversary, I'm going to take my wife and kids to Disney.
Nice.
So the 50th anniversary comes around, and I'm like, I don't have money to go to Disney. It's not happening. But it was my mom's birthday in April, and she says, hey, let's go to my time, because she got suckered and she bought it, right? So she's had it ever since. And so she says, yeah, let's go. You won't have to pay for a hotel. You just stay at the timeshare. And I'm like, I don't have money for the plane tickets, because I looked up plane tickets for the 5 of us, $2,500. And I was like, Mom, I can't. I don't have that kind of money right now. Right. And so she goes, oh, no, I have so many miles. So it just happened that we went on the 50th anniversary. And I wasn't planning on it. I don't know if that's like the secret, like what do you call this?
Manifestation.
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, it was a really nice idea I had. And it was weird to me when I look back. I'm like, why as a 15-year-old did I say I'm going to bring my wife and kids here? Like, I could have said anything else in my head. Like, I'm going to go here for the 50th anniversary. But I was like really intent on having a wife and kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
cool, man.
The most amazing thing about it was, well, first of all, the lines weren't crazy. I think no more than like 40, 45 minutes. So, and it wasn't a hot day. So it was a really nice day to go. And we got to do like all the major rides. And then the end, the spectacular at the end was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah?
They had Yeah, they had like changed the castle to make it look more majestic. And so when they started the
Wow.
show, um, what it was kind of like this visual show that also synced up with fireworks. So
Okay.
what they did was they had this music that was specific to this 50th anniversary. So it was like the music was just made for this, and
Wow.
so they had like projected different parts of movies onto the castle, so it looked like it was like the wall of the castle. So at one point they made it look like Coco, and then another point they made it look like what's that other movie that just came out? Encanto.
Okay.
You know, and
Sure.
there would be certain things like where it would sync up, like there'd be like a shooting star, and then out the side of the castle, and that's where the fireworks would go. Like right in line.
Yes.
And everything was so synced up. And even my eldest, she goes, "Daddy, I think I'm gonna happy cry." I'm like, "Then fucking happy cry." You know, well, I
Oh,
didn't say effing cry,
yes.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
to the 8-year-old. But I'm like, then do it. Like, don't hold back.
Right.
And the little one was on my shoulder. She's like, "Daddy's the best day ever." So
Oh
it
man.
was a really nice experience. Kind of crazy, um, because there's like all this stuff like media and politics kind of fuck up everything.
Right.
So there was there's stuff with Disney now, but like at the heart of it, I grew up with Disney, and my experience was a pure experience. I believe it was just a really nice time to be with the family. So it was awesome.
Right. Right. I mean, isn't every kid's experience a pure experience for the most part?
Yeah,
Like it's just
it should
pure.
be.
It's when we become
It
older that
absolutely
we
should
fuck
be.
it all up and ruin with
Yeah,
opinions and knowing what happens in the back. When you're a kid, you
yeah,
don't remember anything. Like that almost made me cry. Her saying, "I want a happy cry," because it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
you know that feeling, right? You know that feeling
yeah,
of like this is it. There's
yeah,
nothing else that counts. Nothing else matters.
yeah,
I'm here, and then they look at you and like that's the connection, right? And now forever
yeah.
they have that connection of probably that moment, just like you. And
It's kind of like that movie Inside Out. Like when you're
yes,
like
yes,
core memory.
core memories.
Yeah, that's so
Yes,
major. That's so
yeah,
major.
such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Amazing movie. I am
It's-
definitely the little red man, 1,000%. There's no question.
You're in charge of the board.
Yeah, blowing up every 4 seconds. That's definitely
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
That's fantastic, man. I can't believe it worked out like that too. Like just you saying it when you're 15 and it coming into reality, and those are the things that you kind of believe in. It's that crutch that you hold on to whenever you probably think of marriage or think of happiness, probably that same moment. And that's cool, man.
for sure. I mean, yeah,
And
it's
just
something I've wanted since I was a kid. And like
right.
I guess like having I mean, I did have like doubts about marriage like when I was 18, 19, like after my parents like split up. I'm like, I don't know if
Hmm.
I'm cut out for this because if my parents couldn't do it, I couldn't do it. But then I
Right.
had this experience. At one point, I went to like a silent retreat with a bunch of like priests and brothers, and the whole idea was to discern like what I was supposed to do with my life.
Right.
And yeah, and so the guy that was like my spiritual director for the week, he had told me just because your parents got a divorce doesn't mean that you're going to get a divorce, and it could be
Mm.
very healing for someone to be in a marriage after that kind of experience. And I was like, wow, it changed my whole like perspective. Just having someone give me a different idea. So it's pretty
Right.
cool. Yeah. And thankfully, my wife has tolerated me for 14 years. Pretty amazing.
Seems very nice.
Yeah.
Very supportive. I feel
Very,
like that's what
very.
you have there. And how did you feel going to Disney, like with your family? Was that the
Oh
first
man, it
time
was.
with your family? Yeah, right. Like being there.
We went once when my eldest was like 3 or 4, and my
That's right.
wife Arlene was still pregnant with the second one.
Oh, okay.
And I did not enjoy it then. It was too hot, and the lines were way too long, and I did not like. You, okay, so what's really great about Disney now, or at least going to Disney now, is there's an app. So the app tells you um, it's this much of a wait at this place, at this much of a wait at Peter Pan, this much of a
Oh,
wait at the teacups. Yeah, so you can really just like plan. And there's a map like right there that like GPS tells you where to go. Remember back in the day? I don't know. Have you been to Disney before?
it's a long time
Right?
ago. It was a
Yeah,
map that you
at
had to
Disney
read.
or yeah, you have to open the map and then turn it around. I don't know how to
Yeah.
read it. I don't know how to read maps. I'm terrible at
Mm,
geography. I
right.
I remember there was I'm so bad at geography. There was I don't know if you remember, there was a war in Georgia like some time ago. And so I was like, how is there a war in Georgia? Like on American soil? Like that's but it was whatever, somewhere in Europe. That's
Right.
how bad I
Right.
am with geography.
And everything.
Yeah,
History.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
never.
Don't even get me started on history.
No,
I
no,
can't.
no idea. No, no way.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. We same plan. We plan on going to Disney. I don't think I'm ready for it yet, but I guess because you hear so much about it, on the opposite side of what you were saying, that it was like it
Yeah.
makes me not want to go. And it's only like from Vegas, it's like a 6 hour drive, so it's not.
Oh man,
So
and if you go to Disney there, Disneyland has the Avengers
yes,
Campus. Did you know
yes,
that?
no,
Yeah.
I thought that was in Florida.
No man, that's in
Oh,
Cali.
wow,
Black Widow in person. Yeah,
wow.
go. Yeah,
Okay,
Black Widow.
I guess we'll have
There's
to then.
Spider-Man like does this whole like jumping thing from building to building like
Yeah,
on like whatever cords of some sort.
I think they'll like it then. I think
Yeah.
we'll have to go. Yeah, it's for that a doubt. Now I'll have to take a ride.
Yeah.
Now you got to find someone for me to drive. That's the hard part.
Yeah,
Or it's like,
don't let these people tell you, "Oh, it's terrible, it's terrible."
yeah, you
I,
just have to
yeah,
experience it, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
And I think you were a fun dude. I just saw your video that you like reposted doing the Harlem Shake. That was
Oh yeah.
hilarious.
Oh man,
That was so funny.
I was just talking to one of my friends, Bo, and she was like, "Oh, it kind of reminds me of the Harlem Shake," and I was like, "Oh my god, we made one of those! I forgot, like when it first hit, like
Yeah,
we made it, like before it even did. I was like, we're gonna make a gym one before any gym makes it, and then I
yeah.
made it, I, like put it together, and it's actually pretty funny. I was like, I
It was
forgot about
hilarious.
this
I was
part.
like, "What's he doing with that bear costume?" But then it all came together. It all came together at the end. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun."
Everyone had a costume. We told everyone to bring a costume that day. That's cool. So you are. I remember being in your basement. And when I did the podcast for yours, I'm sorry, he has a podcast called the Upstream Podcast.
Yeah, the Upstream Podcast with Salmon like the fish.
Yeah, see that. So
Long
check it
name.
out anywhere you can. Are you on Spotify mainly or
Spotify,
Apple?
Apple,
Apple, yeah,
eh, all of them.
all of
Yeah,
them, right?
you just get put on.
Stitchers. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, they're everywhere.
Sometimes they don't put you on. It's like sometimes it's like it says they're going to spread it out, and then it's not on one like type of podcast. So if you're from
Uh,
Europe, probably on Stitcher or something like that. So be inside. So check out his podcast. It's awesome. And when I went there, I was on his podcast, and he had a bike on a rack, and it kind of intrigued me to like, okay, he's a racer. Like, do you race? Because only racers have the indoor bike with the like the wheel, like the bars that kind of
yeah,
just that
the trainer. It's
the
a trainer.
trainer. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
bike
yeah, yeah.
trainer, and you had it. So you prepared for one and only got through a little bit of it. Can you explain that
So
the first time you
yeah,
did
so
Ironman?
I mean, I probably started doing triathlons in like 2000, I don't know, 11 or 12. So they have, triathlons. They have multiple distances. You could start with like a sprint, which could be like a half-mile swim, and then like I don't know, like a 16, 17-mile bike ride, and then a 5K. And then it goes all the way up to a full Ironman, which is a 2.4 swim,
Mm.
112-mile bike ride, and a full 26.2 marathon. So every year my resolution every December, January would be to do the next distance up. So by the time of 2014 or 15 or so, I attempted to do a full Ironman. I signed up for it in January. I did not train for it until like like a month or two before, because I was in grad school. I was playing
Yes.
with two different bands. I was working full time and part time, and my wife was pregnant. So yeah, it was just too much. And so the only time I got to train was um, when my wife went on maternity leave. I ended up taking leave as well. Back then, they didn't have paternity leave, so
Right.
I had to take FMLA.
Wow.
And the reason I did that was because like I felt super this is my first child, right? And I felt super disconnected
Mm.
from this baby. It was a weird thing because they handed me the baby, and I'm like, this is weird. I thought that in the movies, you just are in love and
Right.
you just want to hold this thing forever, but it didn't like connect right away. And I went back to work like a couple of days later. And then after like 2 or 3 days at work, I just did not feel comfortable. So I told my boss I'm out. And I took like
Oh,
2.5 months. So taking care of the baby and then got training where I could. But yeah, man, I got to that field. First of all, that field was very small. There weren't that many people doing it. And the ones that were super fit. You can't fake fit. Like, like,
right.
yeah, and I was not. But I did it anyway. I was the last one out of the water, last one off the bike. And then once I got off the bike, I actually asked the race director, I was like, hey, can I borrow your phone? Because I have no signal. And he was like, why? I was like, I'm going to ask my wife to pick me up. I'm done.
Oh,
And he
shit.
was like, he's like, you have like 8 hours. You can walk. And I'm like, oh, you could walk in a race? Like, just keep walking? He's like, yeah, look at everybody. And everyone was like walking and then trotting, walking and then trotting. So I was like, oh, all right. So I
Hmm.
walked and I trotted. And then I don't know, it might have taken me 3 hours and 45 minutes to do 13 miles. And then it was a double loop. So once I saw the finish line on because I only did it one loop, the finish line's right
Right.
there. I had been out on the road for like 15 hours. And I still had another 13 miles to do. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. So I just left. And that I've only ever DNF'd like once before.
Yeah.
Um, so it was not a great feeling. And then I immediately was just like super exhausted. But I was hopped up on caffeine and pre-workout. It was
Right.
like, and then trying to sleep that night, man. It was like my body was exhausted, but my mind was just racing. It was the
Yeah.
worst feeling. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Oh, it's
Um,
terrible.
yeah, it was bad. So um, probably sometime last year, I started getting back into marathons again. So I did the um, what is it? What did I do? Someplace in upstate. I did a marathon there. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. But then I did the New York City in November,
Yes.
and I was like, you know what? I think I want to do this. I think I want to try an Ironman again. So I've been training since then. So this like today, I did a 77-mile bike ride and a 12-mile run to try to get the stamina for it. But it's grinding, but I like it because it's like therapy,
Yes. Yeah.
just like it's like my mind gets cleared. And then I randomly think about things that I wasn't intending to think about, and like kind of solve problems that I wasn't really looking to solve. It's nice. It's good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I still have the energy to be here. So like it didn't like kill me. you know.
Yeah. 77 miles. Jesus.
Yeah.
But
But that
like
was
you
all
said,
inside though.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of zone out, and that's pretty cool because it's longer. The training is brutal. The training for what you guys do is absolutely like it's intense. And people don't see that. They don't see the work that you
Mm.
really put into it. You're doing 3 different sports, like put together at a high level. Not even like like a marathon is hard. That's what I wrote down. I was like, I thought you were just doing a marathon, like just getting into marathons. I didn't know you were doing Ironman.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been my first marathon was like in 2006 or so, and then just getting back into it now. Like I'm much heavier now. Like when I first started doing marathons, I mean, I was heavy when I started training, like maybe like 215, 220, and then by the time I did my first marathon, I got down to like 165. So,
Oh
but I
wow.
wasn't intending to lose the weight, but it's just all the training, no
Right.
strength training at all. I wasn't really watching a
Mm,
diet. I was just doing whatever.
right.
Um, but now, like when I did the New York, I was like 195, so I got like 30 pounds heavier, but still like very similar time.
Right.
And then
Oh.
still like adding the strength and conditioning piece, being able to have some strength, like to be able to deadlift something moderate. Back then I couldn't. I don't think I could bench like 135 back then. Uh, so it was nice to kind of have like there's this new like trend of hybrid athletes. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So you have guys that do Ironman, but they can squat like 600 pounds, bench press
Yes.
like 350. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. But
Yeah.
the difference between like something like training for an Ironman versus like strength training, it's little annoying. It's a little pain. It's just it's like a little tapping pain versus like strength training. You're doing like I don't know, any kind of like Wendler, whatever kind of program. Like
Right.
that one rep is dumb heavy, and it takes
Right.
everything out of you.
Right. True. It's a painful rep
Yeah,
usually, but with hopefully a good feeling at the end of
yeah, for sure, for sure.
it.
What do you, so for yourself, you're doing are you primarily doing jujitsu now?
Yeah, just strength training with what I can, and then jujitsu. I'm the guy that brings their daughter to class and puts her on an iPad. So it's the only time I can do it. So she
Yeah, yeah,
she sits there. She's good enough that she has headphones on, looks like Juno, and just like sits there on the couch and plays an iPad while I roll. I check on her every once in a while, but like the only time to do it is at that time because I'm here. I'm the primary driver, so like my wife doesn't drive, so I pick her up, we drop her off, I bring the kids to school. I am the stay-at-home dad, and it's cool. But the hard part was really letting go of the guilt behind having even how I said it, right? It's like, oh, I'm the guy that
yeah,
brings
yeah,
my daughter,
yeah, yeah,
automatically shaming myself for like doing
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But it's the only time I can do it for myself, and I fucking love it. So
yeah,
like it's the same thing. It clears my mind. The only thing I think about is if she's making too much noise on the couch. Other than that,
yeah,
like nothing. If I think about something else in that moment, I'm gonna get hurt, right? So,
yeah.
or I'm gonna get rolled over, or something that I'm not gonna want to happen. And um, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
And if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be a better father for your daughter, right? We feel like we have to do these things. Like
Mm.
you, I have guilt
Mm.
like that. I'm downstairs in the basement I was literally here for 8 hours today, and I kind of had this guilt, like I wish I wish I could have spent more time with my kids, but like yesterday, I was with them all day. I got to tell you, I tell my wife all the time, like I cannot be like a single parent. There's just no way. Because it just took so much out of me. Like it was nice to give them the experiences that they had yesterday,
Right.
but by the end of the day, I was exhausted. Like just like to mentally, all right, are they all alive? Are they all safe? Like,
Yeah.
and just to keep track of three. And another thing I wanted to say is I think the whole stay at home mom, stay at home dad thing has to go. I've come up with a name, and I think you should adopt it and put it
Yeah.
on your LinkedIn.
What
It
is it?
is Director of Domestic Operations.
Holy shit!
Yeah, you got to put some respect on that name because
That's
yeah,
if that's not
direct.
trademark, you better trademark that because that's
I think I will. I think I will.
director
Um,
of domestic operations.
that's literally what you are. That's really, like, yeah, it
That's
is a job.
genius.
Yeah, it is
It
a
makes
job.
you feel better. I don't know, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's almost like linking. I don't know why, but like it just makes you feel like, oh yeah, I f-
There's something whether stay at home mom, stay at home dad. I feel like there's even the stay at home moms. I feel like carry a little bit of shame, like when they say that. Like, when I think stay at home mom, I don't know why, but the first image in my head is Peggy from Married with Children, and that's yeah, like the hair, the bonbons, the cigarettes. That's what I
yes,
think.
you're
But
right.
I've not met a stay at home mom or dad that's anything like that.
No, they all work out. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're all
yeah,
at CrossFit at 10 a.m. They're all at CrossFit at
yeah,
9.
yeah, right.
Oh
With the
man.
kid in the stroller,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
chilling.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
funny. Peggy Bundy.
yeah.
Ah,
Peggy Bundy.
I can picture it now. That's a great one. That's a great one, man.
Yeah,
Director.
man. Yeah,
That's
director
cool.
of
I am adopting it.
domestic
I
operations. There you
appreciate
go.
it. Not
Do
only
it.
that, it
Do it.
brings conversation. Like, what's that? Well, here, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me tell you who gave me this title, first
yeah.
off.
There you go. There you go.
That's cool. I like that.
Would that be DDO? DDO.
Oh,
DDO.
yeah.
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 Yeah. CEO. DDO.
Director
Yeah.
of Domestic Operations.
Right. Is
Yeah.
that right?
I
Yeah.
can't wait
We're
to
like
get
the
off
two
this. And,
slowest minds trying to think about that. Like,
yeah, not working.
the domestic of.
We're like, Georgia
Yeah.
had a war. What? United States?
Yeah.
What is in Atlanta
No, I
versus?
was so confused. I was so confused. I'm like, who's in Georgia right now fighting why would anyone want to mess with Georgia? This is terrible. And how come there's not more press about this? Where's the National Guard?
I thought we were land of the free. What's going on here? That's great. That's great. Yeah, man.
Oh man.
That's a good one. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
anytime, anytime.
Appreciate
Don't
that.
need to trademark it. It's free. I want
Yeah.
everyone to use that.
Ah,
Yeah, you need that power.
making badges. I'm gonna make a badge. That's it. Badge of honor. Make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Make a name tag. I'll wear it around. Oh, Camera's
You
definitely
know
shut
what?
off. Hold on.
th-
Did it? I heard it shut off. Hold on 1 second.
I can see you.
You're still doing good. You're still going.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Sorry. Yeah. DDO.
DDO.
DDO. I had a question. So, oh yeah, this is a basic question. This is I was trying to spin it, but it kind of there's no segue out of this one. Just got a segue right in.
That's
Just
okay.
like comedy. Just go to the next joke. Next one.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it. This move. It's been over a year since we've been out of group. How are you doing?
You know, man, better than I thought I was going to do. I was just talking to my wife yesterday. I think one thing for me that's been, I guess, it's been a challenge and that I've had to be mindful about it is, I think going to the hospital and then going to the group, it gave me a new like awareness of my red line. You know, like I have a red line and I didn't know I had a red line, you know, meaning like a red line that if I persisted too long, I would just fall apart and not be able to function. You know,
Hmm.
I didn't know I had that. I never felt that way before. So, like going back to work was kind of tricky. So I would do like the minimum of hours. Yeah. So it was, so I guess ever since then until now, it's been this whole process of like, all right, can I do more? Can I do more? Back up. I'm doing too much. Can I do more? Can I do more? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Like up, back up, doing too much. So like I've been like slowly kind of building. I guess it kind of feels similar to like when I started working out, like, all right, I'm going to join this CrossFit gym. I'm going to go 3 days a week. Let me see how many weeks I can do that in a row until it feels like comfortable. And then I'm going to add another day, you know? So that's kind of how it's been like, in terms of like, just like dealing with life, like work, for example. Uh, Once we had our third kid, my wife stopped working because apparently you make more money as a babysitter than a social worker. So it just
Yes.
didn't make sense financially for her to work if we're paying someone else like her salary and she's making, you know, income wise, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
So, but because of that, I had to work two jobs. So I started, you know, working this other kind of part-time gig and then just doing like 1 hour a day for the whole week.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, I think initially I started with doing like 4 hours a day for a week. And then I was like, this is too much. Let me do 2 hours twice a week. Like, this is too much. I had to whittle it all the way down to 1 day, 1 hour a week.
Okay.
And now and so over the past like 6 months, just kind of like trying to feel it out. So now I'm doing like 1 hour every day. And then also started doing like private practice work at the same time, but just like 1 hour, you know, on the weekend or whenever, you know, because that's kind of sparse. Like whenever someone wants to see me, I make time.
Right.
So, and then minding my sleep has been huge. Like,
Yes.
so like making sure that I'm going to bed and waking up at about the same time, trying not to sleep in. And if I do, if I am really tired, I'll just go to sleep earlier versus like, you know, versus like sleeping in the next day. You know, I'll go to sleep earlier the following day, you know. Because I think that's for me, that's where it went. Is the sleep was what got me. Like I would sleep like 3 hours, 2 hours, feel great, you know, and then get super aggressively manic, you know, and
Yeah.
then have no knowledge of it. And I think that's the weird thing about mania. Like you have, I don't know, maybe you feel the same way. But I don't want to speak for you. But when I was feeling that way, I thought I was fine. Like I thought I was not just fine. I thought I was like I'm hitting my stride. Like I'm doing awesome, you know. Uh, but yet everyone else is like, "What's wrong with you, man? You're talking really fast. Like you're really irritable." Like I'm really irritable. No, you're just dumb. Like you don't
Right.
think like I think. Like yeah, just really aggressive. So like I think the one thing now is it's weird. Only recently I've been kind of like scared of that happening again. Just like, I don't know, it's weird. I did have that feeling like at the year mark, for whatever reason that came up. But more recently, I don't know, it just crossed my mind like, man, I don't want to be like that again. Am I like that again? Like, I don't know, because no one's telling me. I think I'm
Right.
doing okay. All my ducks are in a row, but what if,
Right.
So I think that's been a challenge, but I think that's just, you know, being a lot more mindful, and then trying to check in with people. Like, I have a therapist that I see weekly
Yes.
now, not just with myself, but then also separately with my wife. So that's a nice check in. And then I've been seeing that, like, even in like my marriage, because that's where it really suffered, is now, like, when I get upset about something, I'm like, why? I actually have to take a step back. Like, why am I so upset about this? And process it, which has been different, because before, if I was upset, I'd just go off like the red guy, the angry guy in Inside Out. So
Inside
now,
out.
like, yeah, we actually had a conversation last Sunday, and I haven't been irritated in a while. Um, but the conversation was because my daughter wanted to do a podcast with me for Take Your Daughter to Work Day. Yeah, so we did it.
Oh,
Yeah, we did it, and but I know my wife, and I know she would prefer to listen to it before I put it out. Part of me was just like, you know what? It's better to just do it and ask for forgiveness later, But I'm like, I know how my wife is, so let me just let her hear it. Man, there were like all of these corrections that she wanted me to make, like, don't say her first name, don't mention the school that she goes to, and like, now it's like an editing mess. Like, it's going to take me probably an hour and a half just to edit, and
right.
and there were things I didn't agree with, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. Like, it's going to take away all the content, from this session with Samara. Uh, and so, yeah, and then I realized what I was angry about was just like, my like lack of control. Like, I don't have control, like, where I think I should have control. So I was able to step back, and I'm like, I realize this is why I'm sad. Like, give me some time. And then, like, the other day, I texted her. I was like, send me a picture of the notes. So now I am going to edit it, eventually.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, no, I think it was a gift to be in that program. It's actually, um, it was a great program. My therapist there was really great.
Yeah.
How are you doing after? Well, I think it's actually more than it's a year and a half now.
Yeah, about a year
I
and a
think.
half, December-ish, a little after,
Yeah,
yes, a little after Christmas. Well, like, yeah, January was like I forget, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. I don't even know how long.
yeah, yeah,
March we finished. I don't remember, but it kind of, everything you said kind of really made a lot of sense. I almost felt like you were talking through me. Because that was the point. Like, I would be fine on 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, and I was crazy in the mornings. Like, at
mm.
crank, having the best classes ever. Like, my energy was through the roof, and I didn't even take any pre-workout, and I was able
No
to do stuff.
pre-workout. What?
Yeah, no pre-workout, and yeah, I can't take pre-workout. I'm very caffeine sensitive. If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ever want to, like, get a good workout in, like I was gonna time out, I would take red lines. Speaking of the thing, right? You said red
yeah.
line
That's so funny.
MHP, and like that little silver bullet can, and I would only
Yeah.
take half, and I wouldn't, like, you couldn't control me, and then I wouldn't be able to
Wow.
sleep. Yeah, at all. I'm really caffeine. I'm very caffeine sensitive,
Wow.
so it's like, that was my go-to when I was like training loud. But yeah, and then I would be fine, and then I would just get irritable, but I felt like I was being productive, and I was like, I'm getting
Yeah.
everything done that I wanted to do, that I can do, that I'm thinking of. And then
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's like, crash. I'm like, all right, I'm fucking tired. I don't even want to be here no more, you know? And
Yeah.
what's going
I'm
on?
only laughing because I know that feeling. I don't know why, but the song "Crash" from Dave Matthews, that should be the
Yeah.
song. That should be the
Crash.
song. Into me.
Yeah. Crash.
Yeah, I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling.
And then the irritable stuff with your wife, like just the littlest things, because you don't have control. You saying that to me was like, exactly. Like, exactly. Like, I don't, like, just now, I just made bacon for the kids, bacon and a fruit bowl. And I
Yeah.
cooked the bacon, and there's this thing that she likes to cover the bacon. But what I do, I don't leave it open. I
Yeah.
fold the plastic so it's closed, but she likes
Yeah.
to put a
Yeah.
piece of foil on top of it. And I was like, what's the difference? Like, I'm just, what's the difference? And to me, it's like, what's the difference? What's the difference, Pete? Because you could also just do it, and then
right.
the objective is there, but you just want to make sure you do it your way, not her
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's
A
it's
light bulb
funny.
went off for you.
Oh yeah, yes, like stepping back and like really just assessing that situation. But when you're in that moment, you're like, "Fuck you! I don't want to edit. Like, I don't want to edit any of that.
Oh,
You know,
1,000%.
like how hard that is. You know,
It's a pain in the ass. How am I supposed to substitute her first name for her nickname? I'm gonna have to find it and then like copy it and just like throw it
Yes.
in. It's not gonna sound right, you know?
Right. I have to listen
I
to
was
the
even thinking
whole
about
thing.
oh my god, you have to listen to the whole thing again. Ugh. You know what I find interesting though is like it's women are so different, man. They're so different. Like you doing it is it's not even like that she gets control of you. It's like that's how she feels loved and cared for
Yeah.
because you listened to and you like you actively would have listened if you would have did it and that would have shown her you love. Like for me, like with my wife, like that's what does it for her. That's like love. Like if I would, yes, sure, I'll change everything. In my mind, I'm like, fuck that, man.
Right.
I'm the man, you know,
Yeah,
I'm the man,
yeah.
you know, no. That
Can I
doesn't
get some
work.
rules? Can I get a rule here? Can I get one rule?
Yeah.
One.
No, you don't. Well, actually,
No.
maybe you should
Maybe
get
you
more
do.
rules. The the DDO
DDO.
should have at least a 0.25%. No, I'm gonna mess
No, I
around with
can't
your
wait.
marriage.
I'm making job description. I'm
Yeah,
gonna make a job description. I'm gonna put it on Indeed. I'm gonna apply myself.
yeah. you're gonna hire yourself.
And I'm gonna hire myself. I want to see how many candidates I get first.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
And they're like, nah, I think I'm the best qualified
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So I'm gonna hire him.
You're gonna do a Zoom with yourself, and it's just gonna echo it back. Hi, Pete. My name is.
For some reason, I'm thinking of Moon Knight. I don't know if you saw that series for
Yeah,
Marvel.
I got to like the 4th episode,
Yeah.
and then I just cashed out. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
There's only like 2 more episodes after that. Anyway, I think it was only like 5 episodes. But yeah, I felt
It
like
was
that.
like, oh,
It's crazy.
wait.
It's crazy. It's
What
literally.
did you feel like in Moon Knight?
Hmm?
Like, what did you feel like in Moon Knight?
I felt like myself. I felt like, oh my god, this is me. I'm this guy, and then I could be that guy really fast.
Oh, you mean like the Switch? Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally. I got you. Like,
Nope.
because I was confused for so long. I'm like, isn't that the dude from Star Wars? But he has this accent. But then once he
Yes,
started talking in an English accent, I was like, oh,
it makes
that guy.
sense.
So
Yeah.
crazy.
It's confusing. I still don't understand it. Like, I still don't.
I
get
don't
it.
understand it. I don't understand like when he goes into the temple and then those people are like like possessed by what I'm like, what is going on here? Like this is just so confusing.
It's a whole new. It's like they're remaking a whole new series of things, like new gods,
Yeah.
new everything. And it's like, no, can we just stick to the regular ones?
Yeah.
It's
Can we just like restart Endgame, like and make it like
yes.
Endgame 2? Like
I watch
that would
Endgame
be
once a week.
amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing movie.
all the
No,
time.
they should. They should just make another Endgame with an alternate universe Endgame. That's what they need to do. Like,
Right.
yeah, like I heard Tom Cruise is going to be Iron Man now in the new kind of like You know, he was actually originally
Wow.
slated to be Iron Man, but he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah. I read some article because I got kind of nerdy for a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's okay to get nerdy. It's supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're right.
It's supposed to happen. It's cool. Speaking of that guy, like you even said, going back to what we're talking about, you just said take a step back and think about it. You know, and I feel like that's something that I can definitely do more of, and will, because it just takes a minute. You gotta really eat the ego. But it seems
sure.
like you've been using a lot of what we learned skills, as we call it. What skills do you think you use the most? Because you always have your go-to ones.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from Pete, you can follow him on Instagram at Pete Isip. Thanks again, and see you next week.
Bye-bye.